Hey yogis, Sarah here and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to work on flexibility, which will allow us to reach deeper into our asanas and reduce any risk of injury. It's also great for improving on mobility and posture. So if you're new to my channel and you enjoy the class, please remember to hit the like button and consider subscribing. So with that being said, roll out your mat and let's begin. So we're going to start out today lying on our backs. So take your time, making your way over, coming down onto your back, keeping your feet planted on the mat, gently coming down. Just begin by hugging your knees in towards your chest. Just beginning to lengthen your spine on the mat, tucking your chin in. Just maybe bringing a soft gaze or close the eyes. Just while we take 3 deep breaths. In through the nose, back out through the nose, and once again in through the nose, and out through the nose. Last one, inhaling full, and exhaling full. Just gently begin to blink the eyes open, bring yourself back into the room, take hold of both knees. Just begin to rock very gently side to side. So we're just beginning to warm up the lower back, down into the hips. As we move through our class today for flexibility, we want to make sure that everything is warmed up. We build a little bit of heat in the body, building a little bit of strength into the core, down through the muscles. Gently plant both feet down onto the mat. You want to walk your heels in towards the body so they're roughly just you can graze them with your hands, and feet are about hip width distance apart. It's going to gently begin to rock the pelvis forward and back. Just gently begin to rock the pelvis forward so the lower spine peels away from the mat. And then begin to rock the pelvis back so the spine begins to flatten, imprinting onto your mat. Begin to sync with your breath. Inhale, rock the spine forward. Exhale, roll the pelvis back. Inhale, forward. And this time, as you exhale, tilt the pelvis back. Begin to lift the hips away from the mat, sending them high up towards the ceiling. Beginning to come up onto your shoulder blades. So you want to really tuck your tailbone under. So you're pressing your pelvis up towards the ceiling, and you're shooting that energy down through the body, down towards the knees, pressing into the feet, lifting your hips a little bit higher. So you're coming high up onto the shoulders, coming into a nice strong bridge pose. Then gently, on the exhale, begin to lower the body back down towards the mat, lowering 1 vertebrae at a time. So your whole spine completely flattens onto the mat, and the pelvis begins to tilt forward. And then begin to tilt back, moving back into bridge pose. This time, see if you can go a little bit higher, a little bit deeper, as you lift the hips even higher. So you're really tucking the pelvis under, shooting that energy up through the body. Maybe you want to begin to interlace the fingers, squeezing up, holding up, reaching your chest a little bit higher. Staying for 3 more breaths. And then gently release the hands and release the body back down towards the mat. Roll the pelvis forward and hug the knees back in. Coming into reverse tabletop from here, begin to bring your feet out in front of you. So you want to keep your feet flexed and your knees roughly in line over your hips. Rest your hands down towards the mat and just take a moment to settle in. So you want to make sure your spine is fully down on the mat. So it's not, the lower spine isn't beginning to peel up away, but it's fully flattened on the mat. So you can keep your hands here resting down onto the mat, or for a little bit more support, you can just hold onto the legs. Wherever you feel is comfortable for you. I'm going to take hold of my legs today, just for a little bit more support. So on your next exhale, begin to extend your right leg away from you, keeping the foot flexed, just pressing into the heel. You'll feel your belly, your abs begin to kick in. So you're engaging the core. You're beginning to work and build strength. Exhale, draw the right leg back into tabletop. Begin to extend the left leg away, pressing into the heel. Rein that leg back in, moving to the right, pressing away, and then bringing it back in. Back over to the left, reaching it out. The lower that leg goes, the more the lower belly will begin to engage. The more you kick your abs in. Bring the left leg back. Begin to reach through the right leg and bring the leg back in. Hug the knees back into the belly. Just rock side to side. And from here, we're just going to begin to gently roll through the spine. So bring the hands to the back of the knees and gently begin to rock the body forward and back. Just rolling through the spine, beginning to bring a bit of momentum into the body. As the next time you rock up, come up, through, over onto the hands. I'm going to walk back through to tabletop. So take a moment, make yourself there. Bring your wrists in line under your shoulders and your knees in line under your hips. We're going to make our way into our first down dog. So walk the hands slightly out. So spread the fingertips nice and wide. And as we move up, we want to really press into all knuckles, keeping the weight out of the wrists. Tuck the toes under, send the hips high, keeping a deep bend in the knees, coming up to our first down dog. So really pressing into the arms and grinding down through both feet to send the hips high. Begin to bring some movement through the backs of the legs, dropping the weight into one heel at a time. And then coming back to stillness in our down dog. Begin to walk up towards the top of the mat, coming up into a forward fold. Allow the body to drape over the legs. Feet are about hip-width distance apart, and the upper body is hanging heavy. And from here, come up to halfway lift, plant the hands on the shins, hinge forward, roll the shoulder blades back, chest opens forward, finding more length through the spine, reaching through the crown of the head, hinging forward from the hips. Exhale, forward fold. From here, take your 2-piece fingers and we're going to take them and wrap them around your big toe. You can bend your knees as much as you need to here. From here, we're going to begin to bend into our elbows and allow our upper body to come a little bit deeper into our forward fold. So as we bend into the elbows, we draw our chest closer to our legs. Don't worry if you're quite a distance away. We're working on finding that space and building that flexibility while supporting our lower back. We've warmed up our core. With each inhale, find more length through the spine. Each exhale, see if you can go a little bit deeper into the pose. Inhale, finding that length. Exhale, coming deeper. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, deepening. Then exhale, gently release and unwind. From here, plant both hands. And just take a breath. Just shake through the legs, bending into opposite leg. And just take hold of opposite elbow. And just allow the upper body once again to melt a little bit deeper. So we're really working on finding space through the spine, which will help us to find more flexibility, more movement through the body. And gently release the hands. So bend your knees as much as you need to so your hands can plant onto the mat. We're going to send our right leg towards the back of the mat. So we're making our way into warrior one from here. So plant, ground the right foot back onto the mat. And as you inhale, begin to reach the arms up and overhead, coming up into warrior one. So bending deeply into the left knee, you want to make sure it's roughly in line over your ankle, but you're grounding through both feet evenly. Your tailbone is tucking under and your hips are squared towards the front of the room. Shoulders are peeling down the back. Your chest is open. You're opening up strong warrior one. From here, we're going to open up into warrior two. So begin to open the body, extend the arms long, pivot on the back foot so it faces the short edge of the mat. And begin to extend the arms long away from the body. Shoulders relax down, pelvis still tilts under, and opening forward into warrior two. Strong arms looking over the left fingertips. Reaching forward, holding for 3 more breaths. And then begin to straighten the front leg. We're going to begin to hinge the body forward. So if somebody's trying to pull onto your left fingertips, begin to drop the left hand down along the shin. Inhale, reach through the right fingertips. We're trying to stack the shoulder blades one on top of the other. Maybe if you're okay with balance, you can begin to look up towards the right fingertips. Maybe you can drop a left hand down and really open up through the body. So you want the chest nice and open. Locking up, reaching up, extending through both arms. And as you inhale, use your right arm as leverage. Begin to pull yourself back up, bending into the knee, back up to warrior two. Inhale, reach through the arms, reach up and overhead. Exhale, pivot on the back foot, hinge from the hips, plant the hands, stepping back into downward facing dog. Walk back up towards the top of the mat, into our forward fold. Soften down, take a breath. Use this moment. Just allow the body to become soft. Let go of any tension in the neck, shoulders, the head. Just take a moment before we move to the second side. Then plant the hands on the mat and send the left foot towards the back of the mat. Planting down, inhale, reach up through the fingertips to warrior one. Bending through the front knee. You can always adjust your alignment once you're in the pose. Reach the arms up, drop the shoulders. Hips are squared towards the front of the room. Tailbone tucks under, reaching high, opening up. Strong warrior one. Open up to warrior two. Begin to pivot on the back foot and extend the arms long, looking over the right fingertip. Breathing deep, opening up, holding for 5 breaths. And begin to straighten the front leg, hinging as if somebody's pulling onto your right arm, dropping down, planting on the shin. Inhale, reaching through the left fingertips, looking towards the fingers. Either staying here or drop the right hand, stack shoulder on top of shoulder. Strong legs, strong body, keeping everything engaged. Inhale, use the left arm as leverage to pull yourself back up to warrior two. Coming through, spiral the arms down, frame the front foot, pivot on the back foot, stepping back, down into downward facing dog. Pedal it out, shake out the hips. And from here, just drop straight down onto your knees, and we're gonna come down onto our belly. So come fully down onto the mat, resting the whole body down. Just take a moment to rest down onto your left ear. Maybe just extend the arms long and just take a breath. Soften the whole body. And begin to bring your hands back in line with your shoulders. And bring your forehead back down onto the mat. So you want to bring your hands back just towards the edges and keep your elbows really squeezing in towards the body. Begin to tuck the pelvis under so you're pressing your pelvic bone down into the mat. Making our way into Cobra. Inhale, begin to lift chin and chest away from the mat. So you want to just very lightly press down to the hands. So you could almost just float them off the mat. So they're not the thing that's holding you in place. It's the support of your core. You're building flexibility. So you want to keep the energy shooting through the top of your head. And exhale, gently begin to lower back down towards the mat. Flowing back up to Cobra. Inhale, lifting chin and chest away from the mat. See if you can lift a little bit higher by tucking the pelvis even deeper into the mat. And then exhale, gently lower. Just resting back down onto the left ear. Extend the arms long. This time, we're going to begin to lift. So bring the head back to center. Inhale, lift chin and chest away from the mat. You're really reaching through the fingertips, as if somebody's trying to pull onto your hands, pulling them towards the back of your legs. And then exhale, softly lower. So making our way into locust pose from here. So we want to begin to engage our legs. So inhale, lifting head, chest, arms, and then begin to lift the legs away from the mat. Lifting the knees, opening forwards. You're reaching your hands back, reaching your head forward. So full body engagement, feeling the energy shooting through the body. Breathing and softly lower. Rest down onto the right ear this time and take a break. Allow your breath to return to normal. Bring your hands back in line with your shoulders. Press yourself up. Lean back over across the legs. Just walking yourself back over. We're going to make our way. Lying back onto the mat. The feet planted firmly on the mat. Softly coming down. Just take a moment hugging the knees back into the chest. Rocking side to side. And planting the feet back down onto the mat. Making our way back into our bridge pose. So you want to extend the arms long, away from the body. Walk the heels in so you can slightly graze with your fingertips. Feet are hip width distance apart. And just begin to gently rock the hips forward and back. Being back into our pelvic tilts. Just before we make our way into bridge pose. Keeping the awareness, the connection with your breath. Inhale as the pelvis tilts away. Exhale as it tilts back. This time, exhale, lift the hips away from the mat. Lifting them a little bit higher, pressing into the feet, noticing that you can go a little bit deeper into your bridge pose. Maybe it just feels a little bit easier, or maybe you feel you can go a little bit deeper. Lift the hips higher, bring the hands under the body. Walk the shoulder blades under. Noticing if you can go deeper in your bridge pose, if you built that flexibility. Just staying for 3 more breaths wherever you are in your bridge pose. And exhale gently, softly release the hands and begin to very gently unwind the spine. 1 vertebrae at a time, soften lower down. Hug the knees in, rock side to side. Either moving to bridge pose once again, or if you feel it's in your practice, or if you want to go deeper, you can take it into wheel pose. So if you want to work into wheel pose, we start out exactly how we do in bridge. It's a very intense pose for the lower back. So I would suggest that if you're new to this, just work through bridge pose. Work on building that strength and that flexibility. You don't ever need to rush into any of these poses. Take it at your own time. So if you do feel you're there and you want to try out wheel pose, walk your feet in, set yourself up for bridge, bring your hands back behind you. Just find that strength first. Feel how the shoulders feel when you press in. Once they don't feel too tight, you're good. You know you have that strength. But as I say, no need to go into this pose if you don't have it. You don't need to. So we're going to begin to lift up into bridge, lifting high up so the hips come really high. Either staying here or making your way into full wheel. Bring your hands back just in line with where the ears are. Lift the hips a little bit higher. You're going to begin to press up into the hands so you come up onto the top of the head. Then you begin to press into the hands and lift the body away from the mat. Keeping the energy shooting through your knees, pressing into the hands. Full body awareness. Staying with your breath. And then if you are in wheel pose, gently release down onto the head and release the body down fully back onto the mat. Soften down wherever you are. Hug your knees into the belly. Rock side to side and forward and back. Just take hold of the knees and take some really big circles. We've done some really deep work into our lower back. Want to make sure that we're letting go of that, releasing any stress or strain, rocking it out. And then from here, squeeze the legs in once more. Going to take a very gentle twist. So plant both feet onto the mat, extend the arms long. If you don't have too much space, just bend at the elbows, hands facing up into cactus arms. Drop the knees over to the right and twist as you look over towards the left. Allow the body to become soft, allowing it to become heavy. Twists are great to do after these deep poses. You just really let go of any excess tension and allow you to become completely soft. Inhaling back to center, drop the knees to the left, look towards the right. Drop the gaze, close the eyes, and soften. Return to your breath. Inhale the knees back to center. Just begin to extend the legs long, the arms long. Just take a moment here. Everything becomes soft. Thank yourself for coming to your class today. As we thank each other for sharing our space. I encourage you to stay as long as you can in your shavasana. Namaste.